I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now waiting, better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything.
Hey everybody, this is Praxis. The past several days I've been working on a video that covers different types of radiation detectors, Geiger counters, scintillators, 4 of the most popular type that seem to be on the market at the moment, and I'm doing some pretty thorough testing to make sure that these things actually function. Not just because I'm generous and I want to help you guys, but also because I own 4 of these things, and at this point I'd really like to know whether or not they actually work. So far, some of the testing has been a little bit surprising to me, and there's one specific type of testing that I haven't been able to do yet because I haven't had a source of gamma radiation. I've had sources of alpha and beta radiation. I've been able to test the meters against those types of things, but I haven't had gamma sources yet, so I've had to order one, and it's going to be here in a couple of weeks. And I'm just waiting to finish up that testing before I share that video with you. That's a video that's about, something, apocalyptic, a possible, sort of end of world scenario where there's a massive nuclear war and we all have to deal with that type of thing. And that's a common theme on a lot of prepping channels, things kind of like that, where we're talking about, real serious dangers, at least dangers that we take seriously. And, for that reason, a lot of times people will say, oh, this is just, this is fear porn, you're fear mongering, you're just trying to get clicks for, making terrifying titles and things along those lines. I think if you really wanted to get clicks here on YouTube, you'd probably just jump out of this whole genre of prepping, because there's a lot of things on YouTube that are a heck of a lot more popular than prepping channels. I don't know, like throwing things into a grinder, playing video games. If you're a woman, showing your breasts to the camera. There are a lot of more popular things on YouTube than making prepping videos. And there are a lot of reasons to prep that have nothing to do with popularity or, having any kind of a fear of the end of the world, because there are so many positive benefits of the prepping lifestyle, and one of them I hope that I'm kind of conveying to you guys right now, just walking through this really beautiful landscape. This is where I came because I was terrified of the world and I wanted to get away from things like convenient access to restaurants, theater, things of that nature. I'm really living out here in the woods because I'm afraid of the rest of the world, and there's absolutely no benefit that I get by being out here in this incredibly beautiful landscape. I think a lot of times people forget that this stuff is actually real, it actually exists. A landscape like this isn't exclusively something that you get a picture of on the loading screen or the desktop of your laptop if you want to have some kind of like picturesque kind of background there. These kind of environments actually exist, and some of us, people who are terrified of the rest of the world apparently, like to live in them, and they're really, really gorgeous. I heard some weird noises up in the woods over here, and that's why I'm kind of headed in this direction, but also down over here there is a really nice stream. I'm thinking about getting some hydropower off of this stream up here, because it almost never doesn't flow. Hydropower is a little different than solar power, not just because one's from sun and one's from water, but the way it kind of hooks up and flows into your system, there are more challenges related to hydropower. I'm going to be getting into that, I guess, as I start investigating that here on my channel. I'm sure those videos will be super popular, but I say that sarcastically. But it is a nice kind of resource, because the past several days we haven't had any snow. In fact, that's one of the forecasts for the New England area, is that, with the changing climate, there were predictions that this area would tend to get a little bit more precipitation. And that sounded pretty good to me, because, on balance, between having too much water and too little, I think you probably want to have too much of it. So that seemed like that made this area kind of nice, at least from that standpoint. There's other downsides to New England. The first on the list is probably the superfluous nature of all the nuclear power stations that we have around here. The whole East Coast is not a great scene when it comes to that kind of stuff. That's another reason why I'm doing that Geiger counter and scintillator testing that I have coming up for you guys as soon as I can finish that testing up. But Again, one of the things that was suggested many years ago when I was first looking at these crackpot scientists that suggests that our weather patterns might be changing, was that this area might get more precipitation. And one thing that has me kind of confronting is that precipitation oftentimes means cloudy skies. And even if you have solar panels and you're relying on that as your power source, you can deal with a cloudy sky or two. But if you have it like just for days and days and days, and they're really thick clouds, now thin clouds you can get by on. If the clouds are thin, you can still pretty much just meet all your demands in your house as long as you have a big enough system, and we do. But if the clouds are really, really thick, and it goes on for days and days like that, it can be. I think I found what was making the noise. These are fresh. Could we follow these? Deer tracks. Take a look. All down through here. Looks like kind of walked over here, hung out in this direction. With me chit-chatting, I'm never going to be able to sneak up on anything. Yeah, it's all going through here. I'm not going to bother hunting it down with you guys right now because, like I said, I'd have to be absolutely quiet, and that don't make good TV. Not talking at all. But yeah, we got lots of deer around here too. Again, that's one of the things that we come out here for, because we're out here terrified of the rest of the world, and it's not the beauty of what we're coming to out here. It's solely what we're trying to get away from in cities. Yeah, it looks like they hang out here an awful lot. It's easy to see where all the deer hang out in the wintertime. I mean, you see deer sign with like their poop and stuff in the summertime, but in the wintertime you get to see all their tracks. Coming down to our little stream over here, which is probably one of the reasons why the deer like it. Yeah, these are super, super fresh. I bet this is what I was hearing. It was some kind of an animal I was hearing over here. I'm not all that well versed in different animal tracks. Not animal tracks. I can figure out deer tracks. Animal noises. I oftentimes don't know what I'm listening to, especially when it comes to birds. I hear the birds singing and chirping and doing their communications all the time, but for whatever reason, my brain doesn't really work that great when it comes to memorizing different sounds that animals make. Ooh, there's a dog here. Coyote. The coyote walking through here. I'll show you guys a picture of that. It's a little dim in here. I'm not sure if they're going to pick up that great, but the coyote tracks go off through here. Dog tracks tend to be more long, and cat tracks tend to be wider. We've got bobcat in here, and rumor has it there is mountain lion moving back into this area, and I happen to be one of the people that believes that rumor. I've seen a couple of things that have been kind of suggestive to me that there are mountain lion moving back into New England. Nothing absolutely conclusive, but some suggestions, some prints that are kind of hard to explain as anything else. Actually, mostly prints that I've seen. But I have talked to people that live in this area in New England, and they've literally seen the animal, like where there was no mistaking it. And again, if I didn't see it myself, I've got to consider that to be, evidence, but not bulletproof when it's somebody else. Not that my neighbors are crazy or anything like that, but I've got really high levels of skepticism when it comes to what I'm experiencing and the data that I'm seeing. And I know not everybody else shares that kind of level of skepticism. Right, we're getting down to the stream area here. What is this video about? Yeah, I started off talking about the Geiger counters and everything. Really what I wanted to share with you guys in this video is that if you're thinking about moving out to a rural location, I know that a lot of times people feel like, they're going to be giving up a lot of stuff in order to do that move. And you do have to give up some things. Like when I want to go to the grocery store, it's like, it's a good half an hour drive to get anywhere. For restaurants, even if I'm going to drive a half an hour, it's not like there's a lot of variety around here. I love Indian restaurants, and I don't get to make it out to Indian restaurants that much, living out here. So there are definite trade-offs, but there's so much beauty as well. Having a stream run right through your property and being able to walk over to it, and if I was quiet enough and could shut up, I probably would have been able to see some deer on this walk. Here's a little clearing over here. Today's particularly beautiful because of all the snow. We had kind of like a sleety slush fell down, and that made everything kind of gluey. And then the snow came, and the snow just stuck to everything. It's looked like this all day long. Really, really beautiful. There's a little stream. Well, there's a I don't know. It's like a reed or something that's stuck in the stream, and it's kind of bobbing. I'm gonna approach that because that's kind of interesting to me. So it's almost like it's fishing in the water up there. But that's essentially what this video is about. You know, I've got some videos about, you know, apocalyptic things coming up, and that is an important part of life. An important part of life is preparing to preserve that life, because life is so wonderful. You know, why would you not want to take some precautions to try to preserve your life? But the other half of that equation is, you know, what are you preserving your life for? You know, it's for enjoyment and the beauty that you can experience when you're out in these kind of landscapes. And there's wonderful things in the cities too. I'm not afraid of the city. I was joking about it earlier. I used to work in cities all the time, and there's that little reed that's kind of stuck in there. But on balance, I'm gonna flip my camera around so I can see what I'm doing. On balance, you know, it's places like this that I think are really, really wonderful to be in. I'm following another deer track. Again, this is another real fresh one. The reason I can tell that they're fresh is, you know, the way that the snow's kicked up. It hasn't melted at all. It looks like fresh, a fresh kick of snow. And I don't see anything across this whole field over here. So we're gonna head on back up through this way. That stream behind me, though, that's the one I'm thinking about tapping for hydropower, and that'll be a project that I might toy with over the next year or two. One of the big challenges with hydropower is having too much power, and that might sound like kind of a weird thing, but the issue is that if you have the power coming in, you have to balance your consumption with the supply of power. And to do that, you always have to have some place to dump the power if you're not using all of it. And that's kind of the challenge with the whole thing. You can't just dump it all into batteries, because once the batteries are full, you know, things can overheat and the voltage can, you know, start skyrocketing if you're not using that up. It's really wet through here, this whole area. So that's kind of the challenge, is setting up the system so that it can take that kind of power. Normally what people do, and I think what I'm going to be planning on doing as well, is that they'll dump the extra electricity into heating hot water or something. Just crawl under here, on our way back. You know, so that's kind of you know, part of the plan with that. But you know, logistically, there's a little bit more to it. So that's that. I wanted to share this beautiful day with you guys. I wanted to make sure I got a shot of it before it was over, because, you know, once the sun does come back out and we start getting all that solar power again, you know, all these trees, they're all just gonna melt off. Usually this doesn't last that long. It was kind of a gift that it lasted for a whole day today. And wanted to make sure I shared it with you guys and let you know that one of the next videos I've got coming up is going to be more of that doom fear porn that I know most of the people that watch prepping channels, that's what they're looking for, which is kind of funny, because the doom stuff, the fear stuff, that's the only thing that, you know, most lay people who aren't prepared are interested in watching, and they seek that stuff out exclusively, and then they complain about it when they find it. I have people that find my channel, and the only videos they ever watch are the ones that have, you know, kind of an edge to them, where they're, you know, warning about something, and then they you know, criticize my entire channel because they say your whole channel is just all fear porn. It's like, oh yeah, really? Did you watch any other videos other than this one? And you guys know me. You guys who know me know that you know, even the videos that I do that are like that, they're hardly fear invoking. It's usually me like giggling, you know, every couple of minutes as I'm going through the videos, because you know, this is serious stuff. But there's always been serious stuff in life. You got to be able to enjoy your life, even with all the serious stuff. That's it. Thanks for watching.
Hey YouTube preppers, if you enjoyed this video, here's another one that I think you might like. But before you click on it, I wanted to take a moment to thank all the people on the right-hand side of your screen. They help to support all the work that I do here over at patreon.com. If you'd like to join them and get your name added to the list, the link's below.